Welcome, friend, to another evening together. Tonight, you will hear timeless Zen stories carried across centuries, each one a lantern to guide your restless mind into stillness. If your thoughts have been rushing all day, these tales will gently remind you that peace has always been waiting within. In our busy world, it is easy to forget. Calm is not found in possessions or tomorrow's plans. It is already yours, quietly breathing inside. So before you get comfortable, dear listener, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I share here. And if you would like, write your local time and where you are listening from in the comments. I would love to know. Now, let us ease into tonight's journey together, side by side. Close your eyes, let your body soften, and allow me to share these stories with you as if we were sitting quietly by a lantern's glow, with the night air wrapping us in silence. The lantern is a gentle image in Buddhism. It does not shout, it does not demand attention, it simply offers light where there was darkness. And so it is with the Dharma, the teachings that point the way to happiness. You may notice, even now, that as you picture the soft flame of a lantern, your breathing begins to slow, your body becomes heavier against the bed, and your mind opens like a calm lake at twilight. Zen stories often begin not with grand pronouncements, but with something small, a flickering candle, a sound of water, or a moment of laughter. These are the lanterns of stillness that illuminate our path. One such lantern glows in the story of a novice monk who was tasked with tending the lamps in a monastery hall. Every evening he would light them, ensuring each flame was steady. One night he noticed that a single lantern sputtered, threatening to go out. Anxious, he rushed to relight it. The abbot, watching from the doorway, gently said, "Do you see, young one? The light is not yours to keep forever. Its glow is precious, because it fades." Here lies our first teaching, friend. Happiness does not come from clinging to flames that cannot last. Rather, joy lives in noticing them while they are here, like the lanterns on a summer night, or the laughter of a child, or even the quiet rhythm of your own heartbeat beneath the blanket. Can you hear it? The simple miracle of being alive, right now. Zen masters might ask, if the lantern will surely go out, why trouble yourself? Why not rest in the glow while it shines? This reflection is not meant to make you sad, but to invite you deeper into presence. And so, my dear one, imagine a row of lanterns stretching before you, each flame a story, each story a step closer to ease. As you breathe, see their light flickering gently in the night air. The world outside can remain busy and noisy, but here, in this still room, you are surrounded only by warmth and soft illumination. Happiness, in the Buddhist sense, is not something earned tomorrow or hoarded in the past. It is found in this very breath, in the awareness that you and the lantern both shine for a while. When you forget this, stress grows heavy, like trying to hold on to smoke. But when you remember peace is as simple as opening your hand and letting the smoke drift where it will, perhaps you can sense it now, friend. The lantern in your imagination glows more steadily. The air around you softens. And as we move into the first story of emptiness and learning, let the lanterns of stillness guide your dreams tonight. The empty teacup. Such a simple story, friend, yet it carries a teaching that has soothed countless restless hearts. Let us enter it gently, as though we were walking into a quiet garden at dusk. Once a university professor visited a Zen master, eager to learn about enlightenment. He came with notebooks, questions, and a mind already brimming with theories. The master offered tea, pouring carefully into the professor's cup. But soon the cup was full, and still the master poured, tea spilling over the sides. The professor exclaimed, "Stop, the cup is overflowing. No more can go in." The master smiled, saying, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup? Friend, in this tale, the teacup is not merely a vessel. It is our mind when cluttered with judgments, worries, and the constant noise of thought. To taste happiness, we must pour some of it out. Not all, perhaps just enough space for new light, new peace, to flow in. You might notice, even in your own day, how full the mind becomes. Thoughts pile up like dishes in the sink. Plans for tomorrow, regrets from yesterday, and the endless what-ifs. Zen does not tell us to destroy the cup, but to rinse it, to make room for stillness. As you rest here, listening, imagine your own teacup. Can you see it? Perhaps it is porcelain, perhaps clay, perhaps chipped from years of use. Whatever its form, picture it being gently emptied. Every worry poured out like tea back into the earth. Every regret sliding over the rim and dissolving into the soil. There is a curious Zen practice called kuyo, the offering of broken or used objects, old tools, worn-out brushes. Even a teacup past its service monks sometimes dedicate them with gratitude before returning them to nature. This reminds us that nothing is wasted, and even emptiness is a form of fullness. So when your teacup of thoughts empties, friend, it is not barren. It is ready. Ready for rest, for kindness, for the quiet hum of night around you. Some masters ask, what if the teacup itself is just another thought? If the mind is not really a container at all, then what is there to empty? Such paradoxes can puzzle us, but they also open the heart. For even puzzlement, when held lightly, leads to laughter like realizing you were carrying a key in your pocket all along. Happiness, then, is not in clutching more ideas, more possessions, more assurances. It is in the sweet relief of letting go, of trusting that emptiness is not a lack, but a spaciousness. You may have felt this, dear one, when gazing at the sky. The vastness above you is not frightening when you allow it. It is liberating, a reminder that you too are not confined by your worries. Tonight, as the night air wraps softly around you, consider this. Your teacup is already tipping, slowly releasing its excess. You do not need to push. Just allow gravity, gentle and certain, to help you. Every exhale, another drop poured away. Every pause, a little more space created, and in that space, peace settles quietly, like tea steam curling into the air, vanishing, yet leaving warmth behind. The laughing monk, dear friend, is one of those tales that brings a smile even as it whispers a profound truth. Happiness, in the Zen way, is not always solemn, nor is it locked away in long hours of silence. Sometimes it arrives with laughter so full that it shakes the dust from the heart. There was once a monk named Hote in Chinese Zen tradition, known as the Laughing Buddha. He wandered through villages, carrying a cloth sack filled with little gifts for children. Wherever he went, he laughed a big, round laugh, rolling like thunder, yet gentle as rain. People said he embodied happiness itself. When asked about enlightenment, he would simply laugh and open his bag to hand out sweets or trinkets. His very presence was the teaching. The lesson, friend, is clear. True joy is contagious. It does not need explanations. It bubbles up naturally when one is free from clinging. Think of the times when laughter caught you unexpectedly, when someone's silly mistake or a child's innocent remark broke through the heaviness of your day. Did you notice how light you felt afterward? As though a burden had slipped from your shoulders? There is another story, quieter, but no less bright. A young monk once entered a monastery known for strict discipline. Silence was observed almost without exception. One evening during meditation, a novice sneezed loudly, breaking the stillness. The hall was tense, yet from the back, one monk chuckled softly. Soon, the whole room was laughing. The abbot, far from scolding, smiled and said, "Sometimes the sneeze is the Dharma. Zen is like that, friend. It takes the seriousness of life and turns it upside down. Where others see an interruption, Zen sees an opening. Where others frown, Zen might laugh." In your own day, can you recall moments where joy broke in uninvited, perhaps a pet doing something ridiculous, or a stranger smiling in line, or your own sudden giggle at a memory? These are not distractions from happiness. They are happiness peeking through the cracks. There is a lesser-known practice in some Zen circles, laughing meditation. Monks gather, not to chant, but to laugh together, deep belly laughter, until tears flow and the body is light. It is said to cleanse the mind as surely as hours of seated meditation. For laughter, like the wind, sweeps away the cobwebs of thought. Zen masters might ask, if laughter is enlightenment, why are you waiting to be serious? Isn't the sound of your own chuckle already proof of freedom? Perhaps tonight, as you rest, you might allow yourself a small smile. Even now, dear listener, the corners of your mouth may turn upward, gentle, unforced. Feel how the body softens when you smile. Notice how even the air in the room feels lighter, as if joining in the joke. Happiness need not be earned, nor chased. It can be as simple as laughter echoing in a silent hall, or a monk with a sack of trinkets who knew that the greatest gift was his joy. And so, friend, as you drift deeper, let the sound of the laughing monk follow you. Imagine it round, warm, unshakable. Each chuckle a lantern lighting the path to rest. Each smile a reminder that peace does not always whisper. Sometimes it laughs. Walking on fallen leaves, friend, can you hear the gentle crunch beneath the feet of a monk? As he strolls along a temple path at dusk, the world may seem still, yet every step carries music. In Zen, even walking is a meditation, a doorway into contentment. There is a story of a teacher who asked his students to practice not sitting, but walking. He told them, each step is the universe itself. Do not rush toward tomorrow. Place your whole being in this single footprint. The students laughed at first, thinking it too simple. But as they slowed down, placing heel to earth, toe to soil, something shifted. They noticed the coolness of stone, the softness of moss, the sound of dry leaves crumbling like whispers of time. Happiness was there, waiting beneath their soles. In Buddhism, mindful walking is called kinhin, practiced between long hours of meditation. It reminds us that the path is not only found on a cushion, but in motion. Each step, when taken with awareness, carries the weight of the entire cosmos. Imagine, my dear one, if you walk to the kitchen or down your street with such care, the journey would not be a means to an end, but a celebration in itself. The Zen saying goes, when walking, just walk. Simple words, yet profound. Most of the time, our bodies move while our minds wander elsewhere. But when mind and body unite in each step, the heart discovers a rare joy, one not dependent on outcomes, but rooted in presence. There is an old, quirky practice in some temples where monks sweep paths covered in autumn leaves, only to scatter them again, and then sweep once more. Why? To remind themselves that perfection is not in tidy results, but in the act itself. The crunch of leaves, the sweep of the broom, the step upon earth, all are happiness in disguise. Friend, imagine now that you are walking in such a place. Lanterns glow softly along the path. Leaves drift down in the cool evening air, spiraling before settling underfoot. With each step, you feel the weight of your body soften into the earth. You need go nowhere, you need prove nothing. Simply walking, you are already complete. Zen masters might ask, if happiness lies in the next destination, will you ever arrive. But if it lies in this very step, have you not arrived already? As you breathe tonight, picture each inhale as a step forward, each exhale as the crunch of a leaf beneath your foot. The path unfolds endlessly, not because you must reach its end, but because each moment is the end. Each moment is the homecoming. And so, dear listener, may your steps, even the ones taken in dreams, be slow, steady, and filled with ease. For in the crunch of fallen leaves lies a secret melody, one that hums of joy, of presence, and of the happiness that was never far from you at all. The bamboo's whisper, friend, is one of nature's gentlest teachers. Picture a grove of tall, green stalks swaying under the moonlight, their leaves rustling like soft chimes in the night air. Bamboo bends when the wind presses, yet it does not break. In its quiet resilience, Zen finds a lesson about happiness. There is a tale of a monk who meditated daily beside a bamboo grove. When storms came, he watched the stalks bend low, their thin bodies seeming fragile, yet always springing upright once the winds passed. This, he told his students, is how one lives wisely. We do not resist every gust of life. We bend, we yield, and so we endure. Happiness, in this light, is not about controlling the winds of fate. It is about learning how to bend without losing your roots. Think of your own life, dear one. Have there been times when resistance made your suffering worse, when holding tightly only caused pain, and other times when letting go, when leaning with the moment, allowed you to stand again with surprising strength? The bamboo is hollow inside, and monks often point to this as a symbol of emptiness. Its strength lies not in being solid, but in allowing space within. What if your own mind could be like bamboo, spacious and yielding, not rigid with worry? Perhaps then every storm would pass through you without shattering your peace. There is a quirky Zen exercise where students are told to sit by bamboo and simply listen not to words, but to whispers of the leaves. They are asked afterward, "What did the bamboo say?" Some answer, "It said nothing." Others smile and reply, "It said everything." The truth lies in both. Silence itself can be the most eloquent teaching. Zen masters might pose the question, is it the wind that moves the bamboo or the bamboo that reveals the wind? A riddle, yes, but also an invitation to notice how your life reveals unseen forces, desires, fears, and joys, all moving through you. Tonight, as you rest, imagine the bamboo swaying nearby. Hear its rustle, like soft breath at your bedside. Let it remind you that you, too, can bend with what comes. Stress may blow like a fierce storm, but you need not break. You are rooted in something deeper, something steady. Friend, happiness is not found in a life free of wind, but in knowing you can sway gracefully when it blows. The bamboo whispers this truth softly, endlessly, if only we pause to listen. So breathe with the bamboo. Feel the gentle rhythm of resilience within you. Let each exhale be the sound of leaves brushing together, soothing, tender. And may you, like the bamboo, rise again with ease, no matter how strong the storm. The Monk and the Moon, dear friend, is a story of simplicity so profound it glimmers like silver light on still water. Imagine a clear night sky, the moon full and radiant. It shines not because it owns its light, but because it reflects what already is. Zen often points to the moon as a mirror of truth, of freedom found in letting go. There is a well-loved tale of the poet-monk Ryokan. He lived in a tiny hut with almost nothing to his name, just a robe, a bowl, and his joy. One night, a thief broke into his hut, only to find there was nothing to steal. Ryokan returned, caught the intruder, and smiled. "You have come such a long way," he said gently. "You should not leave empty-handed. Here, take my robe." The The thief, startled, fled with the robe. Ryokan then sat naked beneath the moonlight, whispering, "Poor man. I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." Friend, can you feel the depth of that moment? Ryokan's happiness was untouchable, because it did not rest in possessions. He had already released the need to own, and so he could see the moon itself as a gift beyond measure. In Buddhism, this is the spirit of non-attachment. The idea that clinging to objects, people, or even ideas only tightens the knot of suffering. True freedom, true joy comes not in keeping, but in releasing. Like Ryokan, we might lose much, yet still gain the moon. There is a playful Zen practice where monks are asked to bow to the moon. Some do so seriously, some laughing, some not at all. The point is not the bow, but the awareness the moon shines equally, whether we acknowledge it or not. Happiness, too, is always shining. We need only notice it. Zen masters might ask, if the moon belongs to no one, why do you believe your happiness must belong to you? Could it not be something larger? Something that shines on all equally, like moonlight spilling across rooftops and rivers? My dear one, picture yourself now in a quiet field. Above you, the moon hangs serene, spilling silver across your resting form. Nothing more is required. The world could take your robe, your plans, even your certainty, yet it cannot touch this light. And in its glow, your breath slows, your heart loosens. Happiness, friend, is not hidden in tomorrow's treasure. It is here, as close as the moon's reflection in your own eyes. So as you drift deeper, let the image of Ryokan sitting naked beneath the stars soothe you. Imagine him, smiling, unbothered, whispering again, "I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." And perhaps tonight, the moonlight is a gift shared with you too. Echoes of the waterfall, friend, can you hear them already? That endless rush of water tumbling down rocks, steady yet ever-changing, roaring yet strangely soothing. Zen often listens to waterfalls as teachers of impermanence, reminders that nothing stays still, yet everything is complete. There is a story of a monk who meditated behind a waterfall. His friends thought it odd, too noisy, too distracting. But he said, "In this sound, I hear silence. The water falls without pause, yet it never hurries. It never holds back. Each drop is new, each moment fresh." And so the waterfall became his mantra, echoing ceaselessly, guiding him into peace. Happiness, dear listener, is much like this. We may wish to hold on to a single perfect moment, like a cup beneath a stream. But the water always overflows, slipping away no matter how tightly we grasp. The trick, Zen says, is not to cling, but to drink deeply, and then let go. You may notice this in your own life. A perfect day ends, laughter fades, even joy shifts into quiet. And yet, does this mean happiness is gone? No, like the waterfall, it returns in another form. Perhaps in a small kindness, perhaps in the hush of evening, perhaps even in the rhythm of your own breathing. There is a quirky Zen practice where novices are told to mimic the sound of water as meditation. They murmur shh softly, again and again, until the sound fills their ears and their thoughts wash away. It may seem playful, yet soon, like the rush of a real waterfall, it carries them into stillness. Zen masters might ask, is it the waterfall that sings, or your mind that hears the music? Perhaps both, perhaps neither. Perhaps the echo is simply the meeting of flow and awareness, which together create harmony. Friend, imagine yourself now standing by such a cascade. Mist cools your skin, droplets kiss your face, the roar fills your ears. At first it is loud, but slowly it becomes background, like a lullaby written by nature herself. You realize you could stand here forever, and the water would never cease. The constancy becomes comfort. Happiness is not a frozen lake, perfect and unchanging. It is a waterfall, alive, flowing, sometimes wild, sometimes gentle, always moving. When you surrender to its rhythm, peace returns endlessly. So tonight, as you lie here, let the sound of water echo within you. With each breath, imagine the fall of droplets, endless, cleansing, unstoppable. Let your thoughts tumble with them, dissolving into mist. And may you, my dear one, find joy in the simple truth. You too are flowing. The uncarved block, dear listener, is one of the most tender metaphors in Zen. In Taoist and Buddhist thought, it points to the natural, untouched state of being simple, unshaped, whole. Before the block is carved, it holds every possibility. Once shaped, it may be useful or beautiful, but it has lost its original purity. To rediscover happiness, Zen invites us back to that uncarved state of wonder. There is a story of a master who placed an uncarved piece of wood on the altar. His students asked, "Why not a statue of the Buddha? Why just this rough block?" The master replied, "Because in this, all Buddhas are contained. Nothing has been lost, nothing has been forced." He then asked, "Which is holier, the carved figure, or the wood from which it came?" Friend, in our modern lives, we are constantly carved by expectations, by roles, by the sharp knives of ambition and duty. Slowly, the natural block we once were, as children, becomes shaped into something narrow, and yet, within us, the uncarved essence remains. Happiness often arises not from becoming more, but from remembering less, from loosening the carvings and returning to the raw wholeness we never truly lost. Have you noticed how children laugh for no reason, chase shadows, marvel at a snail? That is the uncarved block in action. Before life teaches us to label, compare, and worry, we live directly, freshly. A cloud is a miracle, a raindrop, a treasure. There is a quirky Zen practice called beginner's mind, in which monks are told to look at ordinary things as if seeing them for the very first time. A stone, a flower, even a spoon, is held up and regarded with fresh eyes. The goal is not to analyze, but to marvel, to remember that nothing is truly ordinary. Zen masters might ask, what is more real, the carved statue or the wood it came from? If the carving breaks, is the essence lost? In this way, they remind us that behind all our identities and struggles lies something untouched, spacious, and free. Tonight, friend, as you rest, imagine yourself as an uncarved block, not defined by your worries, not cut by your past, not shaped by tomorrow's demands. Just whole, simple, complete. Feel the relief of it. No need to be polished, no need to impress. Like a block of wood resting in the forest, you belong exactly as you are. Happiness, then, is not found in becoming someone else. It is in resting in your own unshaped truth. And in that resting, peace flows naturally, like the breath moving gently through you now. So let your body soften. Let the carvings of the day fall away. Return, my dear one, to the uncarved block, the childlike wonder, the simple joy of being. And there, in your untouched wholeness, happiness waits quietly, already yours. A bowl of rice, friend, may seem so ordinary, yet in Zen it becomes a treasure beyond measure. Imagine a steaming bowl placed before a monk after morning meditation, simple, plain, and yet filled with gratitude. In this ordinary nourishment lies a teaching. Happiness does not come from excess, but from seeing the sacred in the simplest gift. There is a story of a monk who traveled for weeks and finally reached a small village at dusk. Exhausted, he was given a bowl of plain rice by a kind farmer. The monk ate it slowly, each grain a blessing, and afterwards said, "This meal is as fine as a feast in the emperor's hall." His gratitude did not depend on flavor or abundance, but on the miracle that life had once more been sustained. In Buddhist practice, rice has long been a symbol of offering. Monks on alms rounds accept it from lay people, not as charity, but as a shared bond. The giver cultivates generosity, the receiver cultivates humility. Each grain becomes an embodiment of interconnection, a tiny reminder that no one lives alone. There is a quirky Zen ritual in some monasteries where, after eating, monks pour water into their empty bowls, swirl it gently, and drink it down. Even the last grain of rice is not wasted. It is a way of saying nothing is too small to honor. Friend, think of how often happiness slips away because we overlook the ordinary. We wait for the banquet, forgetting the quiet joy of a warm cup of tea or the comfort of a simple meal at day's end. Yet in those plain moments, peace is nearest. Zen masters might ask, which is greater, the mountain of rice or the single grain? In truth, both contain the whole. Each grain, no matter how small, carries the sun, the rain, the soil, the hands that planted and harvested. To taste one grain with awareness is to taste the entire universe. As you lie here tonight, imagine yourself holding such a bowl. Feel the warmth against your palms. Smell the faint sweetness rising with the steam. Each bite is slow, each breath steady, and with each swallow, a quiet joy fills you. There is nothing lacking, nothing to chase. The bowl is enough, and so are you. Happiness, dear one, is often no larger than a bowl of rice, shared in gratitude. When we honor the small, life itself becomes a feast. So let your heart be fed by this image. As your breath deepens, may each inhale be like a grain of rice, nourishing, steady. May each exhale carry thanks into the night air. And may you remember, friend, that joy is not hidden. It is here, warm and plain, waiting in your hands. The silent bell, dear friend, is a paradox that Zen delights in. How can a bell that is never struck be heard? And yet, in its silence, there is a resonance deeper than sound. To sit with stillness is to hear a bell that rings within. There is a story of a monastery where a great bronze bell once hung. For years it was struck at dawn and dusk, its tones carrying across valleys, calling monks and villagers alike into presence. One day a crack formed, and the bell was silenced. Some mourned, saying the call to mindfulness was lost. But the abbot reminded them, the true bell has never depended on metal. Listen closely, and you will hear it ringing still. The monks sat in meditation, and in the vast silence, each one felt the bell vibrating in their own hearts. Happiness, in the Buddhist sense, is often found not in what is heard or seen, but in the space between. Just as music depends on silence between notes, peace depends on pauses between thoughts. When you listen deeply enough, even silence hums. Friend, try this now. Listen not to my voice, but to the quiet surrounding it. Notice the stillness that has been here all along, like a bell waiting in the air. Isn't it strange? The absence of noise can be as full as sound itself, filling the body with ease. In some Zen temples, there is a quirky practice called the unstruck bell. Novices are told to sit before the bell and imagine its sound, not striking it at all. At first, they struggle, but eventually they discover that the mind can summon resonance from silence, and that true hearing is not only with the ears, but with the whole being. Zen masters might ask, does the bell ring because it is struck, or does it strike because we listen? In this riddle lies a reminder. Happiness, too, depends less on what comes to us than on how we attend to it. Imagine tonight that a silent bell rests above you. It is vast, bronze, eternal, yet unbroken. Though it makes no sound, its presence fills your chest. Its vibration hums through your breath. With each inhale, You feel the bell's stillness expand. With each exhale, it settles deeper into your body. Happiness, my dear one, is sometimes loud, like laughter, but more often it is quiet. So quiet, you only notice when you slow down, enough to listen. So rest now, in the resonance of the silent bell. Let its wordless song wrap you in peace. And as you drift, remember, what is unstruck still rings, and what is unspoken still comforts. The fisherman's net, friend, is not merely a tool for catching fish. It is a living metaphor in Buddhism for the way all things are bound together. Imagine a wide net spread across a river at dawn, its ropes glistening with dew, each knot catching the light. This image resembles the great teaching of Indra's net, where each jewel reflects all others, infinite in connection. There is a story of a fisherman who once asked a monk why his life always felt heavy with struggle. The monk pointed to the man's net and said, "Every knot holds the whole river. You think you suffer alone, but every being is woven into your life. Tend the net, and joy will flow through you." The fisherman, puzzled, sat by the water and watched the ripples. Slowly he realized that each drop touched the next, just as each person's joy or sorrow touches others. In Buddhist thought, this is compassion not as a duty, but as recognition of reality. When you smile, the net brightens. When you suffer, the net trembles. And so, happiness is not just yours, but ours. There is a quirky Zen ritual where monks tie strings together during festivals, weaving them into a shared circle. Each person holds a thread, and when one moves, the whole circle shifts. It is a playful reminder of interconnection, of how nothing exists apart. Friend, reflect on this. How many unseen hands made your life possible today? The farmer who grew your food, the worker who built the roads, even the stranger who smiled in passing. Each one a knot in the net. Without them, you could not be here, breathing softly in the night, listening to these words. Zen masters might ask, if you tug one thread, does it move only here or everywhere? Perhaps happiness is not in holding your knot tightly, but in loosening it, letting the net breathe. Tonight, imagine yourself lying within such a net, not trapped, but supported. Each thread cradles you, woven by kindness you may never see. You are not alone. You are suspended gently in the fabric of life, swaying with its rhythms. Every exhale softens the net. Every inhale reminds you of connection. Happiness, my dear one, grows when we see ourselves not as isolated boats, but as ripples in one vast ocean, or knots in one vast net. To care for another is to care for yourself. To receive care is to let the net hold you. So rest easy, friend. The net is strong. It holds you tenderly, shimmering with 1,000 reflections, carrying you into dreams where all beings are companions. Sweeping the temple, dear friend, is more than a chore. It is meditation in motion, a way of touching happiness with each stroke of the broom. Imagine a quiet courtyard at dawn, the sun barely lifting, and a monk moving slowly, brush bristles whispering against the stone. Each sweep is steady, unhurried, dissolving dust into air. There is a story of an old monk assigned to sweep every morning. A younger novice complained, "Why waste time cleaning? The dust will return tomorrow." The elder smiled, answering, "Yes, but so will I." In those words lies the heart of Zen. Joy is not found in finishing, but in doing, not in permanence, but in presence. Daily labor becomes sacred when approached with awareness. In Buddhism, this is called Samu work practice. Washing dishes, chopping vegetables, sweeping floors, all are treated as meditation. The body moves, the mind rests, and happiness arises from the unity of both. Friend, you may notice this in your own life. Have you ever found peace in folding laundry, or in tending a garden, or in washing your hands slowly under warm water? These small acts are doorways to stillness. Some temples hold a quirky ritual. After sweeping the courtyard spotless, monks deliberately scatter a few leaves again. Why? To remind themselves that perfection is not the goal. The joy lies in the sweeping itself, in the dance of dust and broom, in the willingness to meet the present moment as it is. Zen masters might ask, if the courtyard will be dusty again tomorrow, why sweep at all? And yet, if life will end one day, why live at all? The answer, of course, is the same, because joy is found in the act, not in its endurance. Friend, imagine now that you are sweeping softly. With each breath, the broom slides across the stone of your heart, brushing away yesterday's worries. The sound is gentle, rhythmic, like waves on a shore. Each stroke clears a little more space within you, until the whole courtyard of your being feels open, light, ready. Happiness, then, is not waiting at the end of labor. It is here, in the bristles meeting stone, in the rise and fall of your chest, in the simple act of being alive. So rest now, my dear one, as if your day's dust has been swept clean. The courtyard of your mind is fresh, open beneath the starlit sky, waiting for dreams to walk gently across it. The mirror of the mind, friend, is a timeless image in Zen, a surface clear and bright, reflecting everything as it is. When the mirror is dusty, reflections blur. When it is polished, nothing is added, nothing is taken away, only clarity remains. Happiness in this teaching is the natural shine of a mind freed from its own smudges. There is a story of the sixth patriarch, Huineng, who won his place through a simple verse. The senior monk wrote, "The body is the Bodhi tree. The mind is like a clear mirror. Polish it diligently. Do not let dust collect." But Huineng, though uneducated, wrote in reply, "There is no Bodhi tree, nor is there a mirror bright. Since all is empty, where can dust alight?" The abbot saw in these words the depth of realization that the mirror is not separate from what it reflects. Mind and world are not two, and so happiness is not found in endless polishing, but in seeing that the mirror was never truly stained. Friend, have you felt moments when your mind was cloudy, thoughts rushing like storm clouds? It can feel as though happiness is hidden. Yet even then, the sky behind those clouds is unchangingly clear. Just so, the mirror of the mind is never broken. Dust only covers its surface. With patience, stillness, and breath, the dust falls away. Some Zen temples hold a quirky practice of polishing actual mirrors as meditation. Students rub the surface again and again, watching their own faces emerge slowly. Then the teacher may take the mirror, breathe upon it, fogging it instantly. See, he says with a smile, the dust always returns. Will you despair? Or will you simply wipe it once more? Zen masters might ask, if dust keeps returning, what is the nature of dust? And if the mirror reflects even the dust, is the dust not also part of the mirror's truth? As you rest tonight, imagine your own mind as a mirror. Each breath polishes it gently. Worries fall like specks of dust brushed away by your exhale. With every inhale, clarity returns, a little brighter, a little calmer. You may see your own reflection, calm and whole, gazing back at you. Happiness, dear listener, is not about keeping the mirror spotless forever. It is about remembering that behind the dust, the clarity has always been waiting. Even now, as you listen, the mirror of your mind shines quietly, reflecting the lantern light of peace. So breathe, friend. Let the dust settle. Let the mirror reveal its brilliance. And as you drift deeper into rest, know that clarity is not something to chase. It is already yours. The old pine tree, friend, stands as a patient sentinel in Zen lore rooted deep, reaching high, unmoved by storms. In its quiet endurance, it whispers lessons on presence, strength, and the kind of happiness that does not rush. There is a story of a young monk who grew frustrated with his slow progress. "Why is enlightenment taking so long?" he asked his teacher. The teacher simply pointed to a pine tree outside the monastery and said, "Do you see how it grows, day by day, silently, without complaint? Would you demand it become tall overnight? Then why demand that of yourself?" The pine tree does not hurry. Its happiness is in being what it is, season after season. In winter, it wears snow with grace. In summer, it hums with cicadas. Always it abides. Friend, think of your own life. How often does impatience rob you of peace? We want answers now, joy now, healing now. Yet just as a pine grows ring by ring, invisible to the eye, so does wisdom and contentment deepen quietly within you. Some Zen temples hold a quirky practice of bowing to trees. Monks choose an ancient pine or cedar and spend time in its shade, touching its bark, listening to the wind through its branches. They are asked afterward, "What did the tree teach you?" Often the answer is silence, and in that silence is patience. Zen masters might ask, if the tree is already whole as it is, why do you believe you are not? Perhaps, like the pine, you are already enough, only learning to recognize it slowly. As you rest tonight, imagine an old pine tree beside you, its roots stretched deep into the earth, steadying even your breath. Its branches reach above, sheltering you beneath a canopy of green. No storm shakes it, no season defines it. It simply endures, quietly joyful. Happiness, dear listener, is not always a spark or burst of laughter. Sometimes it is the slow, steady presence that says, "I am here, I am alive," and that is enough. So let the pine stand watch as you drift deeper. With each exhale, sink like roots into the soil of rest. With each inhale, rise like branches into the open sky. And in this rhythm, know that you too are patient, strong, and already complete. Clouds passing overhead, dear friend, are a favorite metaphor in Zen for the nature of thoughts. Look upward on a breezy afternoon. See how the clouds drift across the wide blue sky. They form shapes. They dissolve. They reform again. Never the same, never still. Yet the sky itself remains untouched. So too with the mind. There is a story of a monk who spent years struggling with restless thoughts during meditation. He would scold himself, try to push them away, even grow angry at his own mind. One day, his teacher said, "Sit outside, watch the sky." The monk sat for hours as clouds gathered, thickened, and then slowly broke apart. At last he returned, smiling softly. "I see," he said. "The thoughts are clouds. The mind is the sky. Why be troubled by what drifts?" Happiness, in this teaching, comes not from controlling thoughts, but from recognizing their fleeting nature. Anger, worry, desire, they arise, they linger, and then, like clouds, they move on. Friend, have you ever had a thought seem overwhelming in the moment, only to find days later it had lost all power? That is the sky reminding you nothing is permanent. Some Zen communities hold a quirky practice of cloud-gazing meditation. Monks lie on the grass, watching clouds drift, and afterward they describe what they saw. A dragon, one might say, a mountain, another. The master then asks, "Where are they now?" The answer, of course, is nowhere. The dragon was never real. It was a momentary play of shapes. So, too, are most of our worries. Zen masters might ask, if the clouds never stay, why believe your thoughts must? And if the sky itself never clings, why should you? As you rest tonight, imagine your thoughts as clouds. See them forming in the expanse above you, some dark, some light, some drifting quickly, others lingering. Watch them without judgment. You are not the clouds. You are the sky, vast, open, clear, unbroken. With each breath, a cloud passes. With each exhale, the sky opens wider. Soon, you notice more space than cloud, more stillness than thought. And in that stillness, happiness shines through, as natural as sunlight. Friend, peace is not found in banishing thoughts, but in remembering they cannot bind you. Like clouds, they move on. And tonight, as you drift into dreams, may you rest in the open sky of your being, wide and free. The Laughing Tavern story, friend, is one of those delightful Zen tales that shows how happiness can bloom in the most unexpected places. It reminds us that peace is not reserved for temples or meditation halls. It can be found even amid noise, laughter, and clinking cups. There was once a monk who wandered into a bustling tavern at the edge of town. Villagers were drinking, singing, and playing dice. Some frowned when they saw the monk, expecting him to scold them. But he simply sat down, ordered a small cup of tea, and listened. Before long, someone made a joke, and the monk laughed a full, warm laugh that startled the whole room. Soon laughter spread like fire through dry grass. In that moment, there was no divide between monk and villager, sacred and ordinary. There was only joy, ringing louder than the tavern's din. Friend, happiness sometimes hides where we least expect it. We imagine it must be solemn, perfect, silent. But Zen teaches that joy is boundless. It can emerge in the temple and in the tavern alike. Wherever awareness rests, peace can follow. There is a quirky practice some Zen monks still keep, visiting markets or taverns, not to indulge but to remain awake in chaos. They train themselves to find silence in noise, clarity in confusion, joy in imperfection. It is said that if you can keep a calm heart in a noisy tavern, you can keep it anywhere. Zen masters might ask, is the laughter of a monk in a tavern less sacred than his silence and meditation? Or are both the same Dharma wearing different robes? As you rest, imagine yourself entering such a lively place. Hear the clatter of mugs, the murmur of voices, the sudden burst of laughter. Then notice beneath the noise, your own stillness remains. You are both in the tavern and beyond it. The noise cannot shake you. Instead, it becomes music, reminding you that life is never separate from joy. Happiness, dear one, is not fragile. It does not vanish in noise or imperfection. Like the monk's laughter, it arises naturally when you stop drawing lines between holy and ordinary. So let your heart, even now, echo with a quiet chuckle. Let it remind you that peace need not be solemn. It can be playful, unexpected, found in a tavern as much as in a temple. And tonight, as you drift into dreams, may laughter ripple through your being, light and free. A candle in the wind, friend, flickers delicately, unsteady yet radiant. Its flame is never still, always bending, stretching, bowing to the air. In Zen, this fragile light becomes a teaching on impermanence, reminding us that life's beauty is most vivid because it does not last. There is a tale of a monk who meditated by a single candle each night. One evening, a gust blew through the window and extinguished it. The monk sighed, then smiled. "Ah," he whispered, "this too is the Dharma." The darkness was not a loss, but another form of teaching, the reminder that all things, even light, arise and pass away. Happiness, dear listener, shines brightest when we stop demanding permanence. When we accept the flicker as part of the flame, we discover gratitude in each moment. Think of your own life. Have you not cherished a fleeting smile, a sunset, a song that ended too soon? Their passing makes them precious. just as the candle's brief glow illuminates the night more sweetly, because it cannot last forever. There is a quirky Zen ritual where novices are asked to carry a lit candle while walking slowly around the meditation hall. Their task is not to let the flame die. Every draft, every breath threatens it. Inevitably, one candle goes out. The master, instead of scolding, simply bows and says, "Thank you for showing us impermanence." Even failure becomes a teacher. Zen masters might ask, if you could hold a candle that never burned out, would you still treasure its light? Or is it precisely the flame's fragility that makes you notice it at all? Friend, imagine now a small candle at your bedside. Its glow warms your face. Its flame dances with the quiet rhythm of your breath. With each inhale, it leans towards you. With each exhale, it bows away. You know it will fade, and yet, in this moment, it shines perfectly. Happiness is not the eternal flame we imagine. It is the flicker that reminds us, this moment is enough. You do not need forever. You only need now. So rest with your candle, dear one. Let its gentle light soften the room of your mind. And when it finally dims in your imagination, do not grieve. For in its fading, you will see that peace itself continues glowing, steady within you. The empty boat, friend, is one of Zen's most enduring parables, a story about anger, about blame, and about the freedom found when we realize there may be nothing and no one to fight against. Once, a man rowed his boat across a river in the mist. Suddenly, another boat drifted toward him, colliding hard against his side. The man shouted furiously, "Watch where you are going! Are you blind?" But as the mist cleared, he saw the truth. The other boat was empty, drifting untied. His anger dissolved instantly. There was no one to blame. Friend, how often is our suffering like this? We shout at empty boats, assuming an enemy where there is only circumstance. A delay, a mistake, a harsh word so quickly, anger leaps up. Yet when we see clearly, the boat is empty. The moment has no intention to harm us. Happiness arises not from controlling the river, but from releasing the illusion of an opponent. Some Zen teachers give their students a quirky practice. Imagine every insult, every obstacle, as an empty boat. A friend forgets your birthday, empty boat. A stranger cuts you off in traffic, empty boat. Even your own mistakes, empty boat. It is a playful but profound way to disarm the reflex of anger. Zen masters might ask, if there is no boat, what collides? If there is no self, who grows angry? Questions like these loosen our grip on the rigid stories we tell ourselves. Imagine tonight that you are floating in a small boat. The river carries you gently. Another vessel drifts close, bumping lightly against your side. Instead of flaring with tension, you smile. There is no one there, only the dance of water and wood. You breathe, and the current carries both boats forward. Happiness, dear one, is the release of needless blame. When you see the emptiness of the boat, anger falls away, leaving only the wide, open river. So let your breath row you forward now. With each inhale, the river flows beneath you. With each exhale, another empty boat drifts by, harmless. And in this river of life, friend, you are free, free to float, free to rest, free to smile at the simple truth that most of what you fight against was never truly there. The garden path, friend, is both literal and symbolic in Zen practice. Imagine a monk tending vegetables at dawn, hands in the soil, the scent of earth rising, each step along the garden path, a prayer in motion. Happiness, here, is not an abstract philosophy, but something cultivated in the soil of daily life. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked by a visitor, "What is enlightenment?" The master simply pointed to the rows of beans and said, "Pulling weeds." Confused, the visitor pressed further. The master smiled and replied, watering plants. Enlightenment was not hidden in distant mountains. It was right there, in the rhythm of ordinary gardening. In Buddhist tradition, tending a garden is more than survival. It is a practice of interdependence, patience, and care. To water a seed is to trust the future. To wait for growth is to surrender control. And to harvest with gratitude is to recognize life's generosity. Each step along the path, each weed pulled, is an act of mindfulness. Some temples keep a quirky tradition. Monks scatter seeds not only in neat rows, but also along the walkways, so flowers sprout unexpectedly between stones. Visitors are reminded that joy need not be cultivated only in proper places. It can bloom anywhere, even in the cracks of the path beneath your feet. Zen masters might ask, if the fruit feeds the body, what feeds the heart? Perhaps the answer is simple attention, the willingness to see life itself as nourishment. Friend, imagine yourself now walking along such a path. Gravel crunches under your feet. The air carries the fragrance of herbs and blossoms. You bend down, brushing soil from a small green sprout, and feel its quiet resilience. With every step you sense how your own spirit too is growing, tended by the invisible gardener of awareness. Happiness, dear listener, is cultivated not by chasing what is grand, but by nurturing what is small, steady, alive. A garden does not bloom all at once, yet each moment on the path is already complete. So breathe with the rhythm of the garden. Inhale, as if drawing in the scent of earth after rain. Exhale, as if planting a seed in fertile soil. And may your dreams tonight be like blossoms unfolding gently, one by one, along the endless path of peace. The traveling monk, dear friend, is a familiar figure in Zen stories, staff in hand, sandals worn thin, wandering mountain paths and village roads alike. His journey is not for reaching a distant destination, but for discovering that happiness is present in every step. There is a tale of such a monk who was asked where he was going. He smiled and replied, "I am already there." The villagers laughed, thinking him mad. But the monk simply kept walking, each footprint pressed into earth like a seal of contentment. His teaching was clear: if happiness lies only in arrival, then life is always incomplete. But if it is found in each step, then every moment is home. In Buddhism, the traveling monk symbolizes impermanence and trust in the way. Carrying little more than a robe and bowl, he learns to rely on strangers, kindness, the generosity of the world. Each step is a surrender, each mile an act of faith. There is even a quirky Zen practice where monks walk in circles around the monastery courtyard for hours, chanting softly with each step. It looks aimless, but it trains them to realize every step is both departure and arrival. The path itself is the destination. Zen masters might ask, when your foot lifts, where has it gone? When it falls, where has it arrived? In such riddles, the line between traveler and destination dissolves. Friend, imagine now that you too are walking. The road stretches before you, winding through hills bathed in soft twilight. You feel the ground beneath your feet, solid and cool. With each step, a sense of peace rises, not because you are getting closer to some end, but because this step itself is enough. Happiness, then, is not postponed. It is not waiting at the next milestone. It is here, in the steady rhythm of your body, the simple miracle of moving forward. So let your breath be your footsteps tonight. Inhale, lift the foot. Exhale, set it down. Again and again, until you find yourself walking into dreams where every road leads home and every step is already blessed. The call of crickets, friend, is the night's own lullaby. When darkness settles and human noise grows faint, the chorus of tiny voices rises from fields and gardens, steady and unhurried. In Zen, even these small creatures become teachers, reminding us to trust the night and rest within it. There is a story of a monk who could not sleep. He tossed on his mat, thoughts buzzing louder than bees. At last, frustrated, he went outside, where the crickets were singing. He sat beneath the moon, listening. After a while, he noticed that their chirping was not restless, but rhythmic like a mantra, unbroken and calm. Slowly, his breath began to match their rhythm. His thoughts softened, and sleep finally embraced him. The next morning, he told his teacher, "The crickets taught me more than my mind ever could." In Buddhism, sound is not judged as distraction or obstacle. Every sound can be a bell calling us back to presence. Even the hum of insects becomes a Dharma talk if we listen deeply. There is a quirky Zen exercise where students are told to meditate at night in the fields, not avoiding the sound of crickets, but blending with it. At first, the noise feels insistent, but as minutes pass, it becomes a background harmony, until monk and cricket seem to share the same breath. Zen masters might ask, are the crickets outside, or is their song already within you? If you cannot separate the two, perhaps there was never a boundary. Friend, imagine now that you are lying under the night sky. Around you, countless crickets sing. Their voices are steady, weaving a net of sound that holds you gently. Each chirp is like a heartbeat, each pause a space for your own breath to fall into place. Slowly, you notice the song is not only around you, it is inside you, part of your very being. Happiness here is not loud or dramatic. It is the quiet assurance that life continues singing even while you rest. You need do nothing. The crickets sing for you, for the world, for the night itself. So as you drift deeper, let their chorus be your lullaby. Inhale with their rhythm, exhale into their song. Trust the night, friend. It is alive, and it holds you. The potter's wheel, friend, spins steadily, shaping clay into vessels both humble and fine. In Zen, this wheel is a symbol of patience and transformation, reminding us that happiness, like pottery, is formed slowly, through steady hands and quiet attention. There is a story of a potter who welcomed a wandering monk into his workshop. The monk watched silently as the clay turned on the wheel, guided by the potter's fingers. "Do you see," said the potter, "how the clay resists at first? Too much pressure, and it collapses. Too little, and it wobbles. Only with balance does it take form." The monk bowed deeply, for he understood. Happiness, too, is shaped in balance, not by force, not by neglect, but by gentle guidance. In Buddhism, the potter's wheel can be seen as the cycle of life, ever turning. We, the clay, are shaped by experiences, softened by suffering, strengthened by care. And yet we are not merely passive. With awareness, we too become the potter, learning to guide our lives with patience. There is a quirky Zen practice where novices are told to mold clay bowls by hand, then use them daily for meals. Cracks, dents, and irregular shapes are not flaws, but reminders of impermanence and uniqueness. Each bowl becomes a teaching. Happiness is not in perfection, but in presence. Zen masters might ask, is the beauty in the bowl or in the hands that shaped it? And if the bowl breaks, has its beauty truly vanished, or does it continue in the memory of its form? Friend, imagine yourself now as clay upon a wheel. Feel the gentle spin beneath you, the steady touch of kind hands guiding your edges. You are not being forced, you are being shaped. Every moment of pressure, every easing of touch is part of your becoming. Happiness, dear one, is not a finished vase locked on a shelf. It is the process of shaping, the joy of spinning, the softness of clay learning to hold its form. So as you breathe tonight, let the rhythm of the wheel be your comfort. Inhale, the wheel turns. Exhale, the form emerges. And in this endless shaping, know that you are already a vessel of peace, perfectly imperfect, beautifully whole. The hidden hermit, friend, lives in many Zen stories, a figure who leaves behind villages and temples, choosing solitude in the mountains or forests. He is not fleeing the world, but seeking to listen more deeply to it. In his silence, we learn about the happiness that comes from being alone without feeling lonely. There is a tale of a young monk who searched for wisdom in every teacher, every scripture, yet his heart remained unsettled. One day, he heard of a hermit who lived far in the hills. After days of climbing, he found the old man in a small hut. The hermit welcomed him with a bowl of tea, and they sat together in silence. Hours passed, and not a word was spoken. At last, the monk asked, "Master, what is your teaching?" The hermit simply pointed to the steam rising from the tea. In that moment, the monk understood. Nothing more needed to be said. Happiness, in this light, is not the constant presence of company or noise, but the peace that arises when we meet ourselves fully. Solitude can be a friend if we sit with it gently. There is a quirky Zen practice where monks are sent to spend a night alone in the forest. Some grow afraid of the sounds, crickets, owls, rustling leaves. Others grow calm, realizing the forest is alive and they are part of it. In the morning, when they return, the master asks, "Who did you meet out there?" The boldest reply, "I met myself." Zen masters might ask, if you cannot sit alone, how will you ever sit in the company of others? For until you befriend yourself, the world will always feel incomplete. Friend, imagine yourself now in a hermit's hut. The air is cool, the walls simple. A single lantern glows beside you. Outside, the forest hums softly, alive with unseen creatures. You are not lonely. You are accompanied by the stillness itself. Every breath you take seems echoed by the trees, every heartbeat matched by the rhythm of the night. Happiness, dear one, is not only found in gathering, but also in retreat. It is the gift of realizing you are whole, even when no one else is near. So rest tonight, as if in the hermit's hut, wrapped in silence that does not weigh heavy, but cradles you. May you discover, as the monk did, that the greatest company is the quiet joy within your own heart. The river's flow, friend, is a teaching as old as the first trickle of spring melt from a mountain peak. Always moving, never the same, yet always a river. In Zen, water becomes a teacher of surrender, showing us that happiness is found not in control, but in letting ourselves be carried by the current of life. There is a story of two monks traveling together. They came to a wide river with no bridge. One monk fretted, "How will we cross? What if the current is too strong?" The elder simply stepped into the water, feeling its push, its coolness. Slowly, he crossed, steady and calm. Reaching the far side, he called back, "The river does not ask if you are ready. It flows, whether you step in or not." The younger monk, realizing, laughed and waded in. Soon both stood dripping, but smiling, free. Friend, how often do we resist the river of life? We cling to the bank of certainty, fearing the unknown. Yet the water flows regardless. To step in is to trust. And in that trust, happiness arises not from controlling the current, but from learning to float. There is a quirky Zen practice where students are asked to sit by a stream and imagine their thoughts as leaves drifting downstream. Each worry, each desire, is placed on a leaf and watched as it drifts away. Before long, the stream becomes clearer, and the students realize the river itself carries all things, effortlessly. Zen masters might ask, if the river never stops, where does it begin? And if you cannot step in the same river twice, then who is it that steps in at all? These questions are not to puzzle the mind, but to loosen its grip reminding us of the fluid nature of life. Tonight, dear one, imagine yourself beside a river under moonlight. You step into its cool flow, water swirling gently around your ankles, then your knees. The current supports you, rocking like a cradle. You do not fight it. You let it carry you. Each breath is a ripple, each exhale a wave. Soon you are drifting, weightless, safe in its embrace. Happiness is not in damming the flow, but in surrendering to it. Life will carry you forward, whether you cling or release, so why not release and discover the ease of floating? So rest now, my dear listener, as if the river itself is guiding you into dreams. Trust its flow, and trust that wherever it carries you, peace is already waiting there. The open sky, friend, is the final image in our journey together tonight. Boundless, spacious, without walls or ceilings. It is the great canvas upon which clouds drift, birds soar, and stars gleam. In Zen, the sky is often likened to the mind, when freed, vast, luminous, without limit. Happiness here is not something gained, but something remembered. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked where enlightenment dwells. He pointed upward. See the sky. The student squinted, expecting some hidden symbol. It is empty, the master said. And yet, because it is empty, the whole world can appear within it. The teaching is simple. Our mind, too, is like the sky. Thoughts come and go like clouds, but the sky itself remains untouched. Friend, have you noticed how easy it is to forget the sky? We look down at roads, screens, tasks. Yet above us, day or night, there is always this immeasurable expanse, inviting us to breathe wider, softer. When we remember it, our own spirit opens, like windows flung wide on a spring morning. Some Zen temples hold a quirky practice of sky gazing. Monks lie on their backs for hours, doing nothing but looking upward. The exercise is not to analyze but to dissolve, letting the self feel as boundless as the space above. Many return with tears of relief, whispering, "I remembered I was never small." Zen masters might ask, if the sky has no borders, then where do you end? Perhaps the walls you imagine around your happiness are only clouds, dissolving as you see more clearly. Tonight, my dear one, imagine yourself lying beneath a vast night sky. Stars shimmer like lanterns, the moon drifts slowly, and the dark is soft, not heavy. You feel the cool air on your skin, the steady rise and fall of your breath. Each inhale expands the sky within you. Each exhale dissolves the last boundary. You are not beneath the sky. You are the sky, wide and free. Happiness is here, friend, not in possessions, not in tomorrow's promises, but in the spaciousness of this very moment. The sky does not demand anything from you. It only invites you to rest. And now, as our journey comes to its close, let us enter the wind down together, gently and slowly, as if drifting on a cloud across the open night. Friend, you are safe here. Nothing more to chase tonight, nothing more to solve. Each breath is enough. Each heartbeat is enough. You have walked the lantern-lit paths, listened to waterfalls, laughed with monks, and rested with hermits in hidden huts. And now, you are simply here, in stillness. Notice how your body has softened, like sand settling at the bottom of a river. Your thoughts, too, have grown lighter, like leaves drifting downstream. There is nothing left to carry, no weight that must be held. Imagine the sky above you, endless, tender, filled with stars. Within it, your worries dissolve like mist. Within it, your joys shine like lanterns. Within it, you are whole. Happiness is not something you must seek. It has been flowing through you all along, quiet as the rhythm of your breath. Friend, if you listen closely, you may hear the silent bell, the laughter of the monk, the the rustle of bamboo. These sounds are not outside. They live in your own heart, ready to comfort you whenever you remember. So let go now. Let the night hold you as gently as a parent holds a sleeping child. Feel the warmth of safety wrap around you, like a blanket woven of stars. Your breath is slow, your body heavy, your mind clear and open as the sky. You are enough, dear one. You are already home. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Rest now, and let dreams carry you where wisdom still walks beside you. Sleep peacefully, friend, for even in dreams, the lanterns of Zen still glow softly to guide your way.